But now the other thing is to remember, you probably want to check that valve, make sure there's no condensation built up on it, because this is a oil reservoir in this part here.
What valve is that?
There's a valve down there.
There's a valve coming right out of the bottom, that's your main drain right there for this part and most of the bearing. It'll drain most of the bearings, but there's a dam built into the bearing. If you lose all the oil at this point, you still have oil in the bearings, or enough oil to keep that running. And that's done for a reason, for the reclaim, because this here you need just it was a little difficult figuring out just how much oil I needed in it. You need at least half, but maybe about half on this sight glass to fill up with oil. But it doesn't.
And it goes in here.
Most of it will, but not all of it. We may have to come back and put a little more oil in here just to bring this up to where it's supposed to be. Because if you don't, because the first thing that's going to happen, is this oil level's going to go down from being pumped. Because your oil, there is a stand tube in here, this is somewhere about here, up about 3 or 4 inches from the bottom, where that is. Now, that's the other thing I see. You don't, I don't see the rubber gasket that goes in there. There was some hard rubber tube I found that I can, that I have used to make that. And you really haven't finished putting this on right yet. All right, so you really haven't tightened this all up yet.
No,
we haven't done it
to make sure it was relieved enough.
Make sure you put your roll pin in here before you do it. When you're ready to tighten it up, you got your positioning where the 2 plungers will work in here, where that's kind of centered. You get your pin in there, because there's a piece that goes on the side that's over there. It's working 2 plungers. This here, I believe, goes in the back one. That way. And what that does, the oil that overflows off of this pipe goes in here. It's pumped up to fill that reservoir. All right, once that reservoir there is full, it overflows down that tube into the back, comes in, and then there's a little spreader plate in here that spreads the oil and uses it to drop and lube the upper cam rollers for the engine, or for the injection pumps. But like I say, you're going to need a large roll pin. What that purpose is to keep this thing from, and there's a reason for that. All right, when you get this,
There's got to be something that goes in there.
Now, I have used, it was a real hard rubber tube, real thick walled, that I found was the right size. Because up in here, if you'll see that there's a tiny groove there. And if you cut it right, it'll fit right up, or get the right size, it'll fit right up in that groove.
Yep.
And you probably just want just a little bit below, because what that's going to do, it's going to seat right there on that.
Yep.
And this here, you should just screw down. Should be a long enough thread there.
To put some pressure to it.
Yeah, and
more or
screw
less
down
keep it.
and seat it.
Yep. It's a little bit crude, but
Well, we probably have whatever piece used to go there, right?
See,
Somewhere? Or
yeah,
probably.
I didn't see it out there. I didn't see it anywhere out there. But that's the purpose of this roll pin, to just keep this thing from. Because if you think about it, you can rock this on the bolt.
I guess that's certainly true. There's only 2 bolts in there, and they're sloppy.
Yeah.
There's no indexing pin.
And this is all I do is keep this in from coming up.
What is this? Are these?
These are the
returns.
These are the return drains from the 4 cylinders. This one here is number 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's returning from the base of the engine?
Yes, that is from the crank loop and the conrod loop and main bearing, or crank bearing loop.
Okay,
on the piston.
rod box lubrication.
The oil's pumped in there, it's thrown out, goes to the bottom, and comes back here.
Now these guys are from the crankshaft, from
Yes,
the main bearings.
These are picking up all 4 main bearings. They're all plumbed together.
Okay, so if you fill this half up,
You've got
all 4 of them.
So
are the
you
same.
can actually dump your oil in any one of the.
Okay.
Oh, any one of these floppers,
Yeah.
don't make no difference.
Nope.
Okay, well, we're done.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that
And so
either.
pouring oil in there is different from oil being in the crankcase because it's dry sump,
No,
right? Or,
there is no oil in the crankcase.
Right.
Except for what is thrown out of the bearings
Yep.
and drains back to here.
Just scavenged
You
oil on the
do
bottom.
not want oil in the crankcase.
so when you're filling this up, you're filling
You're filling
the
the main
bearings. So the bearings are separated from the
Yeah,
crankcases.
yes.
Different
Okay.
oil supply.
Yes, and that's common for this, all 4 bearings, 5 bearings really. And what happens? This oil, when it builds up, it'll go over here onto this side, drop down in there. The second pump will pick it up, which you'll probably want to just put a hose on the second pump right now, and have a waste bucket here or whatever just to catch the oil. But you may not even build up that much in several hours.
Well, that oil recirculates though, I thought.
It does. This is the pump that would pump it out to the external filter.
Uh-huh.
Then it would be filtered and come back in as a gravity feed, back in up through the bottom, which is down here, which I don't think you. And this here, you can consider this an oil drain. You might want to put a valve and a plug there because it's a convenient way to drain the water off. Because even if you drain the water off of your case here, you
Right.
could still have water sitting in the bottom of this pump. So that would be a good drain for that. Unless you use it in the external filter, which is that's where it gravity fed back in up through the bottom. But that'd make a good drain. You probably don't want to. You're probably not going to want to hook up the external filter other than maybe use it for show, set it for show.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 2 external filters. There's one in each engine. So it's that big round barrel things that were in there.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I think somebody took the screens out or didn't know, saw an oily mess and didn't know what it was and just dumped it out, that there were screens in there.
So now they're just sediment catchers.
There were some screens in there, and then I think on the top layer, or maybe sandwiched between them, they had cloth filtering between them, or something like that.
Or rock wool, you know, like you'd have in any one of the tractor filters,
Yeah.
oil-based filters.
But then they also had, there was also a little cartridge filter that was on the outside of it,
Yep.
that they pumped through first, that I think was designed to catch any heavy solids.
Yep.
That was made to be easily cleaned without cleaning the rest of the filter. But,
So when we have that filter as well,
yeah.
there's a little short filter.
Actually, there's a couple extra filters out there I found. So, and if you want, it wouldn't hurt to really clean that out. There is, I think there is a drain plug on this one, but the one way is, have you seen it's like a screwdriver for on a socket, like 3/4 or 1 inch wide.
Yeah.
All right, you can put that right there on that stand tube.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't rusted, yeah, hopefully it'll unscrew or twist out
Yeah.
from inside.
Which, hopefully it's not rusty.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
You
in
get water
oil.
to it, but it's also immersed in oil, so.
Yeah. But, see, this would catch any contaminant in the lower cylinders and end up here.
Yep.
And as a way to save money, this is what they filtered, and they filtered it pretty good. And then they put it back in with it, because all the oil through here is common.
Is what?
Is common. Like I say, if you looked on it, you could probably still see it with your.
Oh, because this
Oh,
pumped
here.
back up into the top.
See, it's It's gonna be hard. You'd have to have a mirror up there to see it. But you can see the 4 lines going right through here, but the one line, or 3.
I've seen that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and right up here at this, each one of these T's up here, and there's a line going. So any one of these could be a drain plug. You might, I don't know if you completely drained it or not. But it probably doesn't hurt to have a little oil in it, so.
Yeah, we poured oil in it when we turned it over
All right,
with a bar just to lube the bearings up.
so.
Yeah, well, mostly cylinder lube up there.
So if you
Yeah.
kind of fill this up to about half, I don't know that we need to go. See, now that could get you in trouble for the winter.
How so?
Nah, just don't.
Oh, there's water coming out there?
Yeah. So, depending on how much water's in there, you could have more water than what you think.
Well, if we take those drain plugs out,
Yeah,
that would drain
yeah.
everything out.
That should drain everything.
That should empty out everything.
There might be just a little layer on the bottom of each one of the bearing caps, but
Yep.
that wouldn't be enough to mount anything.
Not enough to create any damage.
So what was mounted on the side over here with these 2 studs? Is that,
He's got it here somewhere.
There's a pump and a bucket right over there.
oh, okay, so an oil, that's what this little
Yeah.
lollipop
Yeah,
pumps?
that's your time to the engine.
Uh-huh.
It works 2 piston pumps right there on the end.
Okay,
And like I say, the one pumps the oil up there, and pumps the oil out of here and up there. The second one catches your reclaim oil when you do it. Or,
All right, so this is the main reservoir, kind of? So
it's part of the main
and
reservoir.
It feeds this, which pumps
Yes.
it back up.
Yes.
And kind of recirculates it.
But there's a standpipe in here that it won't draw down past
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
past that
So
point.
the oil is pumped in here first and it drains back down into
Well,
here?
No, there's no pumping it up. It's all common and gravity fed to here.
I thought you said there was the first pump here.
Yeah.
Oh, that pumps it up into here.
Into here.
Yeah,
Into
that-
here,
that
which
pump-
feeds this.
It feeds the top end and
Right here, okay.
The return oil is used to lubricate
Yeah.
the cams and rollers in this top end up here.
And then the second oil pump is for
Was to pump to the filter if you wanted to reclaim it,
okay.
or pump in a waste bucket if you want to just, for your show, you're not going to really want to deal with another 30 gallons of oil just to.
And then which pump delivers it to the main bearings?
The back one.
Uh-huh.
Well, it delivers it, it just keeps that reservoir filled. That is a pump in
Right,
itself.
yep.
When that one overflows right there, comes down
This is the
there.
overflow?
goes-
This is
That's
the
overflow from what's being pumped.
Okay.
Goes into here.
It comes in the backside, and inside there's like a little deflection mechanism that takes it and drops it at a couple different points over top of the cam.
So it gets, so the oil is everything, yep.
And
So that automatically times everything.
So
Yep.
what should we do for lubrication before starting it? Is this
well,
also
this
crank
should be
this
full,
thing?
and right now it probably is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to.
No, we'll drain that out.
Yeah.
Drain it, gets fresh in there.
How many cranks should it get
Should
before
we
you
crank
start
this
it?
thing to
Yes,
start it?
you'll want to pre-prime it to just make sure you get. Being it's set so long, we're going to probably want to take a line off the back
Yep,
and pump it
prime
till
it
we
till it comes out.
guarantee we got oil in everything. But it feels like to me like it's pumping just back.
Yep.
There's a
It was-
complicated mechanism inside of there.
yes.
I got the one apart on the Atlas because I had broken pieces in there, and I super glued them back together again.
Have you went as far as custom making those cams?
No, but if
Okay.
If it doesn't
somebody
work, we
knows
might
where
have
they
to.
are, because I had 5 broken
If
ones.
you have any question about what you're doing in there, do not take it apart.
It's actually pretty straightforward, but you better know how it goes.
That is a valveless pump. It was one of the better pumps, but
Oh, the control mechanism I was speaking about.
it is a full mechanical pump. technically, they say it's valveless, but it does have what I call valves.
Like, should we crank it like 20 times prior to starting or anything like that?
For a normal run.
Maybe for the first bump at the year, at the startup of the year, just to guarantee you got oil going into everything. That couldn't be. But then 3 or 4 turns usually after you've had it running. Just
Well,
Okay.
ultimately, you should just take off all the lines and just start cranking it. Make sure
Well-
oil's coming out of everything.
you might want to start at the longest line, which would be back there.
Yeah.
You get all there, you should then be able to crack the others in and see all that. But you see, if you watch here, you can see it dripping as that each individual pump.
Yeah.
You got 16 little pumps, and they are pressure pumps. They will deliver whatever pressure it takes to get that oil shut up.
Yeah, after oil drips down, where does it go? Into the line after that? Or is it,
Well, see,
it drips down and then it gets plunged?
that's
into
part of the complication of this thing.
That's where it
it's a
gets
2-pump system. They got one pump that brings up to that tube, it drips. Then it's got a second pump that pumps it out to the line, whatever it gets.
All right, I see now.
And so that lubricator lubricates everything except the
It
main
lubricates the
bearings
cylinders,
and
the top rod, and the crank bearing.
Yep. Okay.
Now the crank bearing is lubed a different way, and it loops. The one here on the end goes in to loop the rings, and the side ones go in and pick up the oil scrapers. I can show you one on the piston out there what it's doing. So there's 3, really 4, and right there's the one for the main crank, or for the crank bearing.
Okay.
Oh, that's a crank, goes in the crank bearing.
That's lubing, that's the oil going in for the crank bearing.
What does the rod do? Or is it
The,
the connecting?
that's what you mean by the crank bearing,
yes.
right?
Oh,
The
okay.
part on the piston.
Okay. Okay.
The main crank bearings are
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
That lubricates the main rod.
That's,
Yeah.
and from there, it's done by engine speed, centrifugal force to put it in the bearing. Because that just goes in and drops in a ring.
It goes into that ring with yeah.
Well, that looks fairly clean in here.
So is the whole base oil?
No.
No. It's hardly any oil.
See, that's probably what's just in the standpipe that couldn't probably go out. And that's,
So that little bit of oil stays in the bottom like that all the time?
well, see, it's what didn't drain out. It's because of the way the bottom is made.
So there should be one oil.
If you look over there, see the drain pipe's going out. No, there's no oil standing. Just that's the catch-all that's being taken out. Can't have oil in this crankcase, standing oil. And of course, if you hadn't realized that that's your oil ring, where that's where the oil. Now, see, this is where the oil comes in from the injector, or from the oil,
From the spoiler.
it goes right in there on this engine, and that ring is in like a J on the inside.
Yep.
They catch it, but if you look at that ring closely, it's a little bit off center from the center of the crank.
So it forces the oil into that
So
off center
force
part.
the oil down there toward the bottom. It's just like it's bolted to the back end down there.
Okay.
And where it has a hole then that goes into the
So the part that's more off center is what
the
goes
outer
onto that
the outer ring.
Yep.
And it's bolted in, and then there's an oil passage drilled into
And that's what
the.
lubricates the big end.
And that's how the oil gets into this bearing.
Yep.
And then the oil's just throughout and hits the walls, goes down and drains out and pumped out.
Looks like there, at the 2 halves, there's a small hole there that looks like something should have been in there.
That, I believe that is just a way to temporarily hold it together while you're trying to bolt it up.
Yeah, it looks like there was a bolt in it. It's kind of scuffed, you know?
Yeah,
But-
I think that was just a temporary way to hold it till you got the new bolts.
Uh-huh. Okay.
One would wonder then why it would be removed,
Well,
why you'd bother.
maybe you don't want it in there, because if it's not tied in, it could come out.
Yep.
Yeah.